Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's council meeting. Would you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order. Open the roll call.
Slater?
Here.
Scholl?
Here.
Rusher?
Here.
Hader?
Aye. And we need a motion to approve the agenda as printed.
So moved. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We need a motion to approve the minutes of the November 18th, 2013 work session, the December 2nd, 2013 work session, and the December 2nd, 2013 regular council meeting.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We need a motion to approve the November treasury report, which you've all got a copy of.
Move to approve. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Under communications, anything from the public in attendance this evening?
Yeah,
Kevin?
most of you guys know me. You gotta excuse me, I'm a little emotional right now. Last night, most of you know my mom and dad lost their house in a house fire. I'm here for two reasons. Number one is to give praise and thanks to the Humboldt Fire Department. The house was a total loss, but my mom and dad are alive. That's all I care about. Number two, you guys hear nothing but bad things about your PD and your law enforcement. I give praise and thanks for them. They stood out in the bitterly cold last night for 5 hours while we fought that fire. We lost, but we fought. Today, the fire started back up again, and they all showed up again. 21 firemen were at my mom and dad's house last night. I just want you to know, from a man in your community, I'm a blessed man in this community because we are a great community. The people are calling, they're checking on my parents, and we've had nothing but comments, and I just want to come down and tell the council, you hear nothing but bad news. Well, here's another piece of good news. There's a third thing. I made one phone call to a city clerk named Gloria. I said there's an ice skating rink out in front where the fire trucks were at. Within 5 minutes, Leroy Jorgensen went by with ice melt, and the city sanders came by, and there was no longer a hazard in front of the house. And I just want you to know, we are a blessed community. And I want to thank you guys for the staff that you have here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, people service. Clint?
I'd like to bring you up to date on the two towers. They've been kind of misbehaving a little bit, but if I start out at the south tower, earlier in the year we had all the controls moved outside for the work CBI was doing inside. They did heaters and some controls, and they were gone. The weather turned on us, so we moved those controls back inside. And we have the new heaters were in there, but they weren't wired up yet. So we did have a local guy do that, wire them up. But for that week and a half time, we had 2 temporary heaters in there. And sometime during the night, our little pressure line froze. And what it did was the cycle was down, so the pump was, the water tower was calling for tower. It froze, so it just turned on, started pumping, but then when it hit the shutoff at the top end, it didn't know because it was frozen, so it just kept pumping, so that's why then you had a little bit of water up in your area there.
Yeah.
That was just one of those weird deals, but we got the heaters are going, everything's working now, so we're just gonna be hopefully waiting for CBI to come back and check that. But, so that was the issue with the south tower. Now the north tower, we thought we've got that opened up and running, but it seems to be surging, and it comes out that overflow tube, and there's a storm drain underneath there that goes out to the ditch, but for some reason that can't handle that when it surges. I don't know if it's undersized or what, but it'll stop, and then of course it runs out, creating a little ice skating rink there. So what we did, we've used, since there's no controls on the north tower, we've used the south tower. We've dropped our level, just seeing if we can, because it's 7 feet shorter than the south tower, so that's gonna create quite a difference there. And so we've been knocking the south tower down, about a foot, half a foot to a foot at a time. And we're down to about the minimum now, about 37 feet, and it's still purging on us a little bit. And I've got to call into Humboldt Engineering to see if they can kind of help us, see if we can get it straightened out. But until they get the controls on the south tower and the north tower, it's going to be kind of a shot in the dark. Because those two were radio controlled, and they're supposed to communicate back and forth through the software. Of course, we're quite a ways off with the software and the SCADA being all tied together, and I don't know when the tower stuff's supposed to come online. So that's kind of what we're up against with the north tower.
Originally we opened July, where they're gonna have all that stuff here. Here it is, 6 months later.
I think it was
How far away are we on
July.
controls for the north tower software?
Yeah, I have no idea. I can't really get a straight answer.
Really?
Yeah, they just, automatic systems just came into the water plant here about, a little over a week ago. And there's still a lot of electrical stuff. They started on the line press building, but the line press building, that is up and functioning. We've been cycling that, I think once a day we run it through a cycle, drop it into a roll-off, so that's up and running, and that, we're still doing it by manually, so it's, like I said, I think we're a long ways off yet with all the controls and the programming that has to be put in place yet, so unless Aaron's talked to anybody,
Automatic systems kind of runs their own time frame. It's one of those things where, 3 companies in the state, or in the region even?
yeah.
So you're, unfortunately, it's very hard to tell them to do anything
Mhm.
on your time frame. They'll tell you when they come in and when they're gonna leave, and even IPT has been kind of at their whim. They've been screaming at them to get them in there and get everything up and running.
Right.
Because there was plenty of things for them to work on, and they said, well, we'll get there when we get there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
And it was kind of the same way with the wastewater plant. It was online back in 2000. It was kind of the same scenario that we just, you're on their time for the most part. And that, so that didn't surprise me, just quite from the experience that went through with that, so. But that's kind of the update on the tower issue with the flooding and that, so. Until those controls are up, we're kind of shooting in the dark, so.
If the line press is operating, are we not hauling out the old slurry stuff then, or are we still?
No, that's all, our, the old tank, the big props up, and then we're recycling, the water gets recycled back through into the plant, so, no, that's all up and running, we haven't hauled at all with the trucks, so, which is one good thing.
we're still looking for an outlet for the line. I've talked to several companies.
Mhm.
We've talked to several engineers, or talked to the engineer. He's talked to as many people as he could talk to. There is value to it, but it's also somewhat of a headache because the water plant produces a lot of lime. So it's not like you just dump a little here, a little there. You got to have a steady haul of the lime. So we talked to the co-ops. We've talked to, I think. We've got a few people who are somewhat interested. But for right now, it seems silly, but for now, it's getting hauled to the landfill because we don't have an outlet for it.
Is that a different line than they spread on the fields for the farmers and stuff, or is that a different?
It has egg value.
It has ag value for sure.
Mhm.
It's usually just a little more moist than they usually.
Yeah.
Like it when they're better. It's throws it off.
Yeah.
It's really good for treating sludge.
Mhm.
Which it's hard to find somebody that wants to use it for that.
Yeah, it is, yeah, so hopefully we'll find somebody that will take it, so.
Too bad we don't have a place we could stockpile that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because
Let it sit and dry
it's
out,
different
then
times
use
of
it.
year, people need,
Mhm.
will be looking for lime and paying for lime. Maybe not right now, but,
No. In the spring and fall is typically when
right,
they have their
I
runs
don't know.
on it.
what we would do with it,
Well, and that's,
but, is it one roll off a day?
No, about one roll off a week.
A week is all?
Yeah. Yeah.
talking to Gary Nave about it. He said he'll take a look at it. I don't know if he's been up there yet, but we gotta get it to where it's running like it normally would, because the first few runs were large amounts of water, small amounts of lime, so.
Yeah.
Sure.
Get it to where it's what it's gonna look like when the plant's up and running normally, and then have him take a look, see if he has any interest.
Go from there then, so.
Any questions for Clint?
Keep up the good work.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd like to take a couple minutes and introduce our new region managers here. Here, Steve Guthrie will come up and give a little. Yep.
For those of you who don't know me, I am Steve Guthrie. I am replacing Dennis White as the region manager for Humboldt. I've been assigned your project. My background is in surface water, and your new facility has been classified as surface water treatment. From Clarendon, Iowa originally. That's where I first started working for People Service. I have a degree in business administration. I have all the highest certifications you can get, and I've worked in several states, and my specialty again is in surface water, so looking forward to servicing your needs. If you ever need anything, Aaron has my contact information. He can pass it on. We'll look forward to serving you, and we have a great crew here in Humboldt, and I just look forward to the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
And He was a big help when, we've met with the DNR several times.
Yeah.
And your knowledge of turbidity and some of those other issues that come up with
Yeah.
lime softening and
Right.
surface treatment, I think, you know,
Yeah, Clarendon is a
be a good
2.5
asset.
Clarendon is a 2.5 million gallon day surface water treatment plant. Maryville, Missouri is a 5 million gallon a day surface water treatment plant. One's filters like you have, they're not lime softening, one's conventional treatment, one's membrane treatment. So kind of been exposed to the wide gamut. And then I was also a chemical sales consultant for a while, so I'm very familiar with the processes that are involved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we have the Iowa Department of Transportation Highway 3 resurfacing notice. Was that not?
Wasn't here.
Was it in mine? I didn't see it in here, so. The DOT sent a notice, and asked that it be included in the council notes, or in the, not council notes, in the meeting. It's a, there it is. It's a resurfacing project, here in Humboldt, running to, I think it's to Wright County. So they'll be doing, some work in the area, and, probably much needed work in there. This is in addition to the work towards Pocahontas, so. It'll be good for there'll be a substantial amount actually in town, so.
You'll drink coffee, you get on that highway.
And not wear it.
That is good news though, for
Yes.
everyone that travels Highway 3, that is very good news, so. It's been a long time coming, and the only thing I can see is it's gonna be quite an inconvenience getting to either the interstate or at least to Clarion for a little while, so, it's gonna be a mess for probably most of the summer anyway, if I'm guessing, with all the work that we're doing and stuff, so. Yeah, it will be good anyway, I guess we'll get by with 169, we'll get by with Highway 3, so. On our new business, we have with us tonight Jim Vermeer and Melissa Reinhold with HCDA to give us our annual report, so if you would please.
Okay, if you remember, in the even years, we do a biannual report. I want a copy for you.
Hey, thanks. There's lots of fun to read.
So this year is just a snapshot of 2013. And there's an extra one if you want to give it to. There we go. Most of what we've done in 2013, you guys have been a part of, so it won't be anything new, but nonetheless, I wanted to share it with you. As you can tell, the two biggest projects that we worked on this year were Baumgars and Precision Tank. So in your packet, you'll find just a snapshot of kind of some of the efforts that were put into that project. Certainly you understand it was quite a long process. We've talked about a number of times. So just kind of helping you understand how long it took us to get where we are today. Obviously, if you've driven out there, construction is in full swing. I do want to point your attention to the additional taxable valuation that we anticipate from those projects. You're looking at about $4 million. An additional valuation, and that's just for 2013. The other thing I would mention in that third column, I just put some projects that we're currently working on. Most of them are annual projects, but I do want to mention we do have 3 active leads, 2 industrial and 1 commercial, so we are continuing to try to bring new business to the community and the county, in addition to our business retention and expansion program that we have. Aside from that, you do have your formal letter. We are requesting the same thing we've requested every year and in previous years. The last thing in your packet that I would mention is a new board of directors list. We've just had some board changes that are different from what you're probably used to, so I just put a new sheet in there for you. Beyond that, we'd be happy to entertain questions. Jim Vermeer is here representing Humboldt County Development Association. I do want to say, I'm certain he will too, but thank you for your support. Obviously, we recruited these industries and helped them expand because of your actions, and we appreciate your support, so.
Maybe a word about our spec building more?
What's that?
Maybe a word about our spec building on the north side of town?
The commercial spec building?
Yeah.
Yes, we do have that. That's, and actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because that does bring us to another point. Commercial spec building is out at the Humboldt Business Park, 6,000 square feet. We say essentially half of what you need, so half of the lights, half of the heat, half of the concrete, depending on what you put in there. If you were to put light manufacturing, I would argue you probably have enough heat, but depending on what's in there, that is available. And that does, Walter brought up a great point, complete phase 1 of the Humboldt Business Park. So if you remember when we did that project, we opened up 4 lots, not sure what was gonna happen. Baumgart's took 3 of those, and then the commercial spec is on the 4th. So, great news for us. Also great news, we'll probably need to be thinking about future phases of that project just to open up more land for us. So, yeah, that's a great point.
Great organization, that's for sure.
And on behalf of the board, I want to thank the council for your support. The best thing we've done is hire staff, and to hire Alyssa, she's done a great job. If you remember years ago, the Staples commercial, the easy button, well, Alyssa's our easy button to make sure that, business comes to town or business needs help. Alyssa cuts through the red tape and helps out, so she's done a great job for Humboldt, so.
Yes.
Plus, she just moved to town, so.
Great need, property taxpayer.
We like that.
So we really appreciate the support, and hopefully you continue to support us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa, thank you, Jim.
Yep.
Alrighty. Next, we need a motion to approve the renewal of a Class C liquor license and Sunday sales privilege for JOD doing business as Valley